Kasi on-cam niyo. Okay na, gumagana na. Paki-on-cam. Yan. Very good. Pakibalik sa first slide. Okay, ayan. O, nakikita namin kayo, di ba? May background pa kayo na telang pink. Okay. Sino pa yung Miss Sumudyo, isod ka ng konti. Ayan, hindi na nakikita. Ayun, better. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our 4th day of presentation. Yung slide ng first slide. Ayan, okay. So, ito po yung 4th day. This is our 7th group. And before we formally start our presentation, may I call on Ms. Guerra to lead us in prayer.
Good day to our respected panelists. I am Erica Guerra, together with my colleagues, Ms. Gemma Gistomo, Ms. Nicole M. Bensalida, and D.T. Simudyo. Our research entitled Behavioral Effects of Pandemic.
Please lead us in prayer first. Isal muna tayo bago ka mag-present. Okay?
Yes, sir. Let us pray. Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for your blessing and mental health. Lord, we pray kayo po, Panginoon, ang manguna sa aming gagawin, and i-bless niyo po, Panginoon, ang bawat isa sa amin, at kayo po, Panginoon, ang patuloy na mangunguna sa amin. Bigyan niyo po kami, Panginoon, ng kalakasan, at patawarin niyo po kami, Panginoon, sa aming nagawang mga kasalanan, sa isip, salita at gawa. Ito lamang po ang aming samot dalangin sa tanging pangalan ni Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Okay. So, good afternoon again, everyone. May I present to you the panelists. So, our chairman for this afternoon is Dr. Jero, but Dr. Jero has an equally important matter to attend to, but she promised to follow kapag kaya na ng schedule niya. So, babalik na lang. Kung dumating siya, hindi dumating. Pero may suggestions na siyang i-provide doon sa manuscript ninyo na nasa table niya sa faculty. Kukunin niyo lang yun. Pero sana na-harapin siya. Okay? So, our major critic this afternoon is Doc Keith Fernando. Doc Keith,
Mayong hapon.
Mayang hapon. Okay. And for your statistician, Dr. Maylene Sibrinosa. Doc May, good afternoon po.
Good afternoon po.
And your English critic is Sir Emmanuel S. Pineda. Good afternoon, sir.
God bless.
Good luck, guys, and go ahead, start your presentation.
Good day to our respected panelists. I am Erica Guerra, together with my group mates, Ms. Gemma G. Crisostomo, Nicole M. Bensalida, and Lynn T. Sumudyo. Our research entitled Behavioral Effects of Pandemic in Academic Performance of Grade 6 Pupils in Lugan Elementary School. In December 2019, the group of pneumonia cases initially surfaced in Wuhan, China. According to Zhang et al. 2020, this virus is a relative of a severe acute respiratory syndrome and can be contracted by eating exotic animals. World Health Organization states that even today, no one knows when the pandemic will be over. As the time went on, this COVID-19 pandemic became a threat to everyone's life. The closure of schools had a direct impact on today's students. Even though the Department of Education established a distant learning stage, it is not as effective in developing countries because of lack of financial support. According to the report by UNESCO in 2020, this COVID-19 pandemic disrupts school activities until April 2020. The COVID-19 pandemic was designed to cause emotional, behavioral, and psychological problems in people. According to mental health, there are many people who are more afraid of having the psychological and social impact of pandemic rather than being infected. With a study conducted by Dovey and Trepati 2020, they stressed out that COVID-19 pandemic the COVID-19 pandemic leads the students to negative emotions such as nervousness, uneasiness, fear, and doubt. According to this research 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic poses a severe threat to mental health and has psychological impact in Filipino residents. The Department of Education in Oriental Mindoro declared an academic break from January 17 to 22 for all public elementary and secondary schools due to subsurgence of COVID-19 cases from the province. To conclude everything, the purpose of this study is to determine the extent of behavioral effects of pandemic and academic performance of grade 6 students, particularly in Bulbugan Elementary School, as well as to propose an intervention program out of the study's findings.
For the conceptual framework, the figure shows the variables of the research. It consists two variables such as the extent of behavioral effects of pandemic in terms of mental, emotional, and social, then as the independent variables of the research, while the level of academic performance as the dependent variable of the research. The correlation between the variables will be determined as shown by the single arrow. Then the intervention program will be proposed out of the result of the study as represented by the breaking lines. Determining the extent of behavioral effects of pandemic in academic performance of grade 6 students in Bulbugan Elementary School is the focus of the study. Then, this research is only for grade 6 students who are currently enrolled in Bulbugan Elementary School during the academic year of 2021 to 2022. Then, this research records to identify how researchers can propose an intervention program out of the result of the study. Then, this research will not look into non-behavioral effects of pandemic in academic performance of grade 6 students in Bulbugan Elementary School.
And for our data gathering, the theory that supported our research paper is behaviorism or behavioral learning theory, which proposed by B.F. Skinner. This theory believed that environment is one of the reasons of how children acted. In addition, behaviorism theory, year 2020, proves that past experiences are things that really contribute on on new behavior acquired by individuals. And it refers the idea of how students should respond to the particular situation. In addition to the study, the behavior of the student can be affected by the environment they have. And since the pandemic is happening, home is the preferable learning environment of the student. In that way, their behavior depends of what they have inside their home. And the second theory occurred to this study is behavioral learning. The second theory occurred to this study is the behavioral immune system theory acquired by Mark Scholar. It talks about the ability of people to have a negative feelings and cognitive assessment for their own safety and protection. In relation to the study, for people who are experiencing any kind of symptoms of sepsis and they badly follow the health protocols and safety protocols in that way, student negative feelings towards other push them to do things that make them safety. And another theory is James Lange theory of emotion, introduced by William James and Carl Lange. According to this idea, viewing an external stimuli causes a psychological response. In related to the study, in connection to the study, pupils' emotion are influenced
Excuse me. Please stop reading.
and pupils are inquired by the analysis immediate by environment.
Related foreign literature. In terms of mental, approximately 1 out every 6 children between the ages of 2 and 8 years has a neurodevelopmental, behavioral, or emotional problem. During the present pandemic in lockdown, these youngsters with special needs, autism, attention, deficit hyperactivity disorder, cerebral palsy, learning disability, developmental delays, and other behavioral or emotional problems, emotional difficulties rather, face difficulties. They have intolerance for ambiguity and their symptoms have worsened as a result of the imposed limits and unfavorable surroundings which differ from their usual routine. They also have trouble following direction, comprehending complexities of the epidemic scenario, and working autonomously. And social, the extended school lockdowns which began in early spring 2020 and disrupted children's routines, including normal school days, also prevented them from accessing the basic supports that schools provide, such as organized recreations and, of course, face-to-face contact with teachers and friends, which critical for child development. However, that the pandemic has not only resulted in lower student performance on a average, but has also strained children's social and emotional well-being to breaking point. And then emotional, according to Claudia Camaco Zuniga 2021, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on students' feelings in high school, undergraduate, and postgraduate levels, they found out that negative emotion are dominant to students in each level. They had recorded 5 responses that are anxious, stressed, overwhelmed, tired, and depressed. That's why they need help from professional to manage and listen to their understandable feelings. And then the related local literature in terms of mental, according to Rory Visco 2021, in the Philippines, one university network and Southeast Asia, one health university network, the pandemic's impact on Filipino students' mental health in terms of stress, depression, anxiety, and events impact revealed that 19% of national capital region students experience high level of stress, 22% admitted to feeling depressive symptoms, 30% admitted to anxiety, and 12% admitted to experiencing the event. And then in the social, according to the first wave of survey results, 70% of communities in the Philippines have no peace and order issues. The second round of the study, on the other hand, discovered that there was an increase in peace and order issue as a result of job loss.
Okay, for our RRS, by Cohen et al., students are concerned about the impact of pandemic in society, as well as the implication of their own education and professional vision. And next is according to WAG-K, year 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in complex collection of factors such as uncertainty, social isolation, and parental anxiety. And next is for emotion in 2020 national representative national representative study of 13 to 19 years old of 36% said they were more concerned than normal about their mental health. Next. And for our related local studies, mental, according to Magsambulbi, year 2020, according to of the country leading a psychiatrist student, mental health problems during remote learning are caused by interplay of event, nothing that such issues cannot contribute on only the obstacle of resigned education system. And for social, the internet was found to be substantially associated with a high level of expertise as preferred source of information.
For the research design, this study will utilize the descriptive correlational methods of research. McCombs 2019 defined descriptive research as a quantitative type of research that is used to describe the situation, phenomenon, or population, and it combines different kinds of methods to examine one or more variables. Its primarily concern is to find out what is rather than why is in the research subject. In this study, it will be utilized to find out the existing relationship between the extent of behavioral effects of pandemic in terms of mental, emotional, and social, as well as the level of academic performance of grade 6 students in Bulbugan Elementary School. According to Watson 2012, correlational methods of research is also called associational research. It aims to examine the existing relationship between two variables. In this study, it will be utilized to find out the existing relationship between the extent of behavioral effects of the pandemic and the level of academic performance.
For the respondents of the study are the grade 6 students who are currently enrolled in Bulbugan Elementary School during the academic year of 2021 to 2022. Since there are only 42 students belonging to the said grade, all of them will be considered as the respondents of the study. Then for research instrument, the researchers will utilize the self-made questionnaire to determine the extent of behavioral effects of pandemic and the level of academic performance of grade 6 students in Bulbugan Elementary School. Then this questionnaire has one part only, which determines the extent of behavioral effects of pandemic to the said respondents. Then the 5 points criteria will be used as with the corresponding interpretation as we see in the table below, which the 1 to 1.80 is the very low extent, while the 4.21 to 5 is the very high extent.
And for our data gathering, in order to collect the data, a permit will be sought from the office school division superintendent of Oriental Mindoro via letter of request signed by researchers, and if approved, the questionnaire will be spread out to all students and teachers. Um, student will be asked to student will be asked to fill out the questionnaire in order to follow the health protocols and to prevent a measure due to a COVID-19 pandemic. Researchers will be coordinated to the advisor of grade 6 pupils in order to seek for their assistance. And researchers will be translated into Filipino so that student can be comprehend them. And ethical consideration will be observing in the gathering of data. The data that will be tabulated according to the result of statistical treatment. In the stage of service statistical, consultant will be needed for the people for the purpose of analysis.
Statistical treatment of data. Data that which gathered through the research instrument was studied and tabulated by the researchers through the aid of statistical tools like weighted mean and person product moment. Weighted mean will be used to get the average of given set of data. This will be also utilized to get the mean of the responses for each item. Person product moment will be used to measure the degree of relationship between the two variables, behavioral effects of pandemic, and academic performance of grade 6 pupils in Bulbugan Elementary School.
Okay, so congratulations for the 7th group for your presentation. Now let us hear the comments and suggestions of our panelists. Since Dr. Jero is not around, let us proceed now to Doc Kids Fernando. Doc Kids, take it away. Okay. Okay, Doc Kids, take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Dr. Doc.
Okay, how are we going to measure the behavioral effects? Sa ating mga so will you measure behavioral effects? Ito sa study natin, paano natin i-measure itong mga behavioral effects?
By the use of the 5-point Likert scale. Good afternoon po, sir. We measure the behavioral effects through the use of 5-point Likert scale po.
Ginamitan lang ng Likert scale. Who develop your questionnaire?
Self-made questionnaire po.
And who validated your questionnaire?
To ensure the validity of research instrument to be used in the study, the researchers will seek the assistance of the 3 experts such as principals or master teachers of Bulalakaw. And then, they'll be provided a validation form on which they can write down their thoughts and suggestions. Their thoughts and criticism will be integrated into instrument final draft.
Okay, maybe you need to behavioral effects. Behavioral effects of pandemic in academic performance. To correlate the effects pandemic's performance. Kasi ang behavioral is more on affective domain lang ito eh. Minsan kasi ang behavior mahirap i-measure. Kaya tayo pang psychology. Okay. In this study is determine the extent of the behavioral effects of pandemic on kasi meron ko sa iyong problem na and social o so remove the word and social should be behavioral effects of pandemic on academic performance. What is the extent of behavioral effects? Mental, emotional, social. Meron bang ditong psychological effects?
Wala po,
No, sir. None po.
Mga psychological is not related to behavioral effects? Or is already related to mental?
They are related po in behavioral.
Yung behavioral ba tsaka yung psychological, they are not related?
They are related.
Hindi niya sinama.
Yes po, sir.
Mental, emotional, and social. Emotional, so usually kasi ang tayo pang impact lang ay mga ano lang. Emotional, behavioral, and psychological impact. Since ang focus nyo lang ay behavioral, okay. Number 2, okay. Number 3, is there any significant relationship? Yeah, effects of a pandemic and level of academic performance. I-revise nyo na lang yung inyong scope and delimitation. And then, tanggalin nyo yung word na IVs inside the extent of behavioral effects. Okay, discuss nyo rin yung conceptual framework nyo yan. Then you need to improve the terms, all the terms you mentioned here. Define these terms operationally. Hindi lang yung parang kinopy lang ang definition doon sa Google. Siguro mas maganda, wala na, ano na lang siya. Since this is thematic approach, sa inyong RRL, regardless na kung ito ay foreign or local literature. Kasi thematic approach na ito eh. Kaya related literature na magsama local and foreign. Kung wala mang point naman ay hindi thematic, okay lang na related foreign literature or local foreign literature. Since ito ay thematic approach na, you can kaya. Ang heading na lang ay related literature. Literature. And then relate this literature to your study. Relate, ano?
Yes po.
Pwede nyo i-compare or i-contrast itong mga local and foreign studies sa inyong proposal. Kasi more lang ito ng according to, and according to, pero anong relationship talaga ng mga literature na ito sa inyong study. Kung hindi nyo i-indicate sa bawat paragraph or literature or study, lagyan nyo lang siya na sentences of the study. I-include na lang sa last no, chapter 2. So why do you use descriptive correlational methods of research? Bakit descriptive correlational ang inyong research?
We choose the descriptive relational methods of research because McCombs 2019 defined descriptive research as a quantitative type of research that is used to describe population, situation, or phenomenon. And it commonly uses different kinds of methods to examine one or more variables. And its primarily concern is to find out what is rather than why is in the research subject. And this is study, it will be utilized to describe the extent of behavioral effects of pandemic in terms of mental, emotional, and social, as well as the level of academic performance of pandemic in as well as the level of academic performance of grade 6 students in Bulbugan Elementary School. According to Walson 2012, correlational methods of research is also called associational research. It aims to examine the relationship between two or more variables. In this study, it will be utilized to find out the existing relationship between the extent of behavioral effects of pandemic and the level of academic performance.
The respondents of the study are 42 students. All of them will be considered as respondents. Pero meron test of relationship. Bakit total enumeration? There are how many grade 6 sections in Bulbugan Elementary School?
There is only one section in that grade, and that grade is comprises of 42 students. That's why all of them are considered as the respondents of the study.
Doc Mai, are we going to consider? Kasi may silang test of hypothesis eh.
Kaya nga po sir, so hindi natin siya i-consider yung total enumeration. Kung descriptive lang sana, pwede, kaya meron silang relational. Isabihin natin siya sa...
Tapos, this will contradict sample sampling techniques. At kasi doon sa kanyang respondents, all of them will be considered as respondent. But the sampling technique, purposive sampling will be used. So, walang sampling technique na gagamitin kung
enumeration.
naging purposive sampling, nag-set ka lang dito ng ilang halimbawa, possibly 50% lang ang kinuha mo. Okay, 42 lang kasi siya. Pwede bang dalawang school ang inyong i-conduct para meron tayong sampling?
Yun nga, mas sana po, sir.
Pwede po. Pwede po.
Kung dalawang school na magkalapit.
Magkalapit.
Pwede po.
Or saan ba ang sa
Saan po?
Ilan ba ma'am? Ilan itong components natin? Ilan sila?
pa?
Ilan itong ating proposal? Tatlo?
4 po, 4.
Apat sila. Lahat kayo taga-Gloria.
No, sir.
Bulalakaw po, sir.
The three of us po are in Bulacau.
Oo, tatlong Bulalakaw, isang Gloria.
Yes,
Ay bakit ang napiliin nyo ay Gloria?
Bakit hindi Bulalakaw?
Because we just stick to the chosen title po in the proposal title, defense po.
Para at least kung Bulalakaw ito, para may school sa Bulalakaw. O lagyan natin, behavioral effect of grade 6 pupils in Bulalakaw district. School, dito doon. Isang school kayo institution. Okay sa inyo.
Oo.
Para at least meron tayong sampling.
Para something up.
Halimbawa, ito si Gemma. Isang school doon sa... Saan ka ba, Gemma, nakatira?
I live in Maasin, Bulalakaw, Oriental Mindoro po, sir.
Doon ka sa Maasin Elementary. Taga doon ka naman pala eh. Si Nicole.
Maasin din po, sir.
Maasin din. Wala ba itong matamis dito? Si Lynn Sumudyo.
Taga Bulbugan po, sir.
Tapos si Erica.
Poblasyon po, sir, sa Bulalakaw po.
Yan pala naman, dalawa naman. Dok, pwede na yung isa. Maasin at saka poblasyon.
Saka Maasin.
Sa poblasyon kasi, Ilion, Bulalakaw Central School. Bulalakaw Central, mas marami siya, grade 6.
Baka yun na lang pwede, isang school pero maraming sections.
Yan, oo. Yes, why sa Bulalakaw hanggang 4 o 5 section ang grade 6 eh.
Yun, mas maganda doon, mas kita talaga natin yung effect.
Kasi pag ganyan nakalimit lang, minsan teacher's factor na eh.
Kaya nga po, saka bilog-bilogan lang ng mga bata.
Oo yan. Sige, gawin natin siya in Bulalakaw
Anong school, sir?
Central.
Central.
Bulalakaw Central School.
At least hindi mahirap doon kasi nasa sentro. Ang mga bata sa palibot lang ng poblasyon nakatira. Eh kung sa hahulo-hulo at apuntahan mo pang mga bye-bye. Tsaka mga pagkandak na kayo kasi face-to-face class ang klase nila.
No, sir. No, sir.
Nagit kayo ng questionnaire.
So, ibigay nyo sa akin yung population ng lahat ng section so that we could determine how many will be our respondents. Ano? Send nyo sa akin.
Bulalakaw na lang, kung di lang kasi bulbugan nabugbog yung iba. Bulalakaw. Nabugbog Averno. 180 extent. Neutrally, very high extent, high extent. Tanggalin nyo na yung neutrally extent.
Oo, 4.5 na lang, sir.
Oo, up or Likert scale na lang ha. Wala na yung neutral. Ayun lang muna itong po. Thank you. Thank you, Doc Kids, Doc Mai. It's your time to shine.
Sa statement of the problem, Sir Kids, ako nga po ay nag-research kanina nung ito yung title nila. Behavioral effects sa pandemic. Walang biniview si Google na itong study. Parang impact of COVID-19 stressors on the academic performance. Parang ganun baga ang
Impact of COVID. Ito naman ay behavioral effects.
Excuse po, let us welcome Doc Jero. Doc Jero, good afternoon po. Welcome back.
Pero dito nakikita ang effects on human behavior.
Hindi pa lang po tayo.
Effects of human behavior changes during corona. Okay. Oro effects, ano?
impact of kasi doon impact of COVID-19 nga yung mga factors or stressors in terms of tapos identify natin kung ano yun. Pero if ever na ito, sige, pwede din naman. So, bali ang comment ko dun sa sa what is the extent of behavioral effects of pandemic in terms of kung naka-indicate lang nila dito is mental, emotional, and social. And then, pag nag-to chapter 2, ay sana may nalagay itong mental effect. And parang ang pangit basahin na mental.
In terms of mental effects, mental behavior ako ito eh.
May mental behavior, may
Social behavior.
effect of behavior, ano mas social ba yun? Instead of effects. So, mental behavior.
Nakakasama nila doon, ba't walang physical dyan? Di ba affected, di ba?
Pinapalagay ko yung 1.4 ay physical.
Oo, suggested ko din yon.
Yes, ito po yun nung nung preora, anong title?
Yes.
Oo, hindi pa po.
Kasama po kayo, Doc, dito.
Sabi kasi nun magkakapod yun.
Okay po. Yun, so yun yung ko. Tapos dito sa theoretical framework, may nabanggit kayo ditong theories, pero 2020. So karaniwan kasi sa mga theories ay mga 1960s, mga something ganun. Kung ito ay 2020, baka ito yung citations nyo lang, sinited nyo yung paki-review sa theoretical framework nyo. Mga different yung year kung kailan yung mga different theories na nabanggit mo. And then as well as
Meron nga sila ma'am nabanggit dito behaviorism theory ng 2020. Parang bago pa.
ay wala naman po ganun.
Sino kaya
Dapat. Pag jury dapat na.
Opo. Kapag ganitong year na 2020, mga citations yan, ginamit na yun ng ibang author. So, dapat sinite na as cited by theories as cited by Fernando 2020. Yun, so ganun. Pwede nyo siyang gamitin na 2020. So, pero yung mismong theory, hindi nyo siya pwedeng lagyan ng date na ganun kasi matagal na yun. And then, sa conceptual framework, dun sa level of academic performance, lagyan nyo ng bullet dating second grading. Then, sa group na figure na pinuda, teamwork. And then, I agree with Sir Kies about chapter 2, that when it is already mathematics, so need to separate foreign and local. You just only separate the related literature and related studies. Combination na siya ng foreign and local. And then, pakilagyan ng mental effect or mental behavior o ganun. Huwag yung as in mental, social, ano yun.
Tapos yung students talaga gamitin nila, 15 respondents.
Ay, hindi ko. Ito nilagay ko doon sa reliability kasi will only consider 10 respondents. Yan. And then, as suggested by Doc Itzalina, ay, yung tawag dito, we will use the Bulalakaw sa school para po ng camping. 5 sections sila sa so, yun po. 4 courses na lang. Tapos, method, review, assess the reliability of self-made software.
Bakit mo na ba ang title nito?
Wala pa po kami na title. Parang yun pa din po ang title. Sabi ang ay, kulang na yan. Kulang. Okay po. Okay na po ako. Okay po.
Okay na po ba sa inyo yung title?
Ay, Doc Kids, ano nga yung title? Okay na ba yun? Behavioral effects of pandemic?
Of pandemic in the academic performance of grade 6 pupils in Bulalakaw Central School.
Ganun pa rin.
Tapos pagpunta nyo ng Bulalakaw, magdala kayo ng sibuyas. Maraming sibuyas sa Bulalakaw.
Pag-vanish.
Delivered kay Doc Mai at kay Doc Jiro.
Ang iya.
Sa inyo? Grabe kayo. Ay, si Sir ano, Jem, sir.
Tambak-tambak na kayo ng sibuyas ko.
Ay, sir,
Sa South.
Hindi ko na presentation pero meron naman ako mga suggestions din eh.
Sige ma'am.
baka kung may question po kayo, Doc. Pero,
Doon lang sa nila, meron kasi sila dito sa questionnaire nila. Kailangan ba talaga yung English? Tapos,
Optional
Meron siya.
tapos, hindi sex ang ginagamit natin ngayon, gender na.
gender. Copy.
Sex.
Pwede.
Paki-revise na lang po yung inyong data gathering. Kung paano ka talaga mag-data gathering kasi parang medyo
wala na po siguro yung yung sex, grading section name na lang, tapos optional. Kasi, hindi naman kailangan sa study. Wala namang profiling.
basahin naman yung suggestions ko din eh. Sige po, okay na po ako.
Okay na.
Doc Mai, okay na po kayo.
Yes po, sir.
Doc Kids, are you done na rin po? Okay na po? Kids, okay na po ba?
Okay na.
Okay po. So, did you take all, did you noted those down?
Yes po.
Okay, so this is time to congratulate you for a job well done.
Thank you po.
Okay, so revise na lang natin based on the suggestion ng panel and I will help you on that. So thank you very much and you may now leave the panel.
Thank you.
Thank you po.
Marami.
Good.
As our picture taking.
Ay! Ay! Ni, mag-in ka. Dito ka sa ano? Oh my gosh. Ni, nakita.
Wait lang, tatayo ako.
Ni, nakita. Kita ba? Ay,
Ang
iyak pa
present.
ako.
Screenshot kami.
Tanggal mo na yung presentation. Miss Caballo, ganyan